Today is a good day and also a sad day because we got the final episode of season 1 of My Hero Academia, but we also learned that a season 2 will be happening, so that right there is freaking fantastic. Now the only downside is they did not say when it was coming, but they said soon, so maybe we'll see it not this season, but hopefully we'll see it fall, and if not then winter. But before then, I definitely got to catch up on the manga because now this anime, to me, it was definitely my favorite new show of the season. Now, normally I don't consider like JoJo being new because this right here is like its third season now with it, airing part 4. So I don't really, classify that as a new show. So My Hero Academia is definitely my favorite show this season just because to me, like I definitely heard great things about it, but I had no idea I would like it so much. And this episode, now obviously it was pretty much like a standard episode, but that's because we are getting a season 2, so of course they were not like really going in on it. It was pretty much like one of the standard ones that we got early on. Now I'm not saying that right there the bad thing, no, like to me that did actually pretty good because they know that the fans of this, they now because they made the season 2 announcement, they already know that the fans, will be happy about that. And the ending itself, it wasn't that bad. Like I said, to me, it was like a standard ending, so I'm definitely not really like disappointed. Like in fact, I really love this episode. And so we see now that it picks up right where we have All Might, taking out Nomu, and every time I see that final punch that like just send him flying, I never get over that, man. That right there, which is nothing but pure hype. I freaking loved it. That right there is how you do a fight between two powerhouses, and not only that, both of them are also like insanely fast. And so we see now that after All Might has sent Nomu flying, he was not really moving, but you just see like all this steam, like all this steam and smoke coming from his body and like around him. And so right now we have the glove villain, or his role name is Tomura. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but we have Tomura now kind of like freaking out because he was thinking that like he was lied to because there is no way All Might has like gotten any weaker, but that right there, isn't in fact true because he has, because like he said, in his prime, it would have took no more than 5 punches to like take care of Nomu, but this time it took more than 300. Like to me, that right there is just freaking insane. But we see now that even though Tomura was like kind of losing it, we still have the Mist villain who was definitely noticing that All Might was weakening, and we even see now that All Might was like kind of like trying to bluff them by seeing whether or not they would like give up or try to kill him. And so right now we have the Mist villain kind of like talking to Tamura and to like attacking, because right now he was saying that if they work together, they can definitely take out All Might, because he definitely noticed that he is weakening. And we see now that Izuku was also like the only hero who knew what this steam and smoke actually meant. And so then we see with like our other characters, we go back to the Electro dude, who was currently being an idiot because he actually like overcharged himself, and with those two girls. And we see now that a villain who also had like this electric quirk, he actually took hold of the boy, and we see him now trying to like get this girl to surrender without putting on much of a fight. And now to me, I do wonder if like two quirks that are actually similar, or at least like two like two electric types, do they actually like hurt each other, or maybe it's like on some Pokemon kind of stuff where they actually absorb where they actually like absorb the electricity that is used by another quirk onto them by making them stronger or something. Because I just don't see how like two similar quirks, especially like that, can like actually hurt them, because of course by your quirk being like that, and especially seeing how it would like charge up his body like that, I would imagine it would like help him rather than hurting him. But regardless, these girls, like, they were not gonna fight. And we see now that the girl who can actually use sound, she was like trying to distract the villain by talking to him, saying how he would actually be in like hiding man. He could do a lot of work, like a lot of good. So like, why be a villain? You know, pretty much trying to distract his attention, you know, elsewhere while she was like trying to like use her quirk. And I gotta say, seeing those little like seeing those earplugs form from her ears and like going downward, you know, like going downward to her body to where her boot was. To me, that right there was like kind of creepy a little bit. Like just seeing that was like kind of like I wouldn't say it was disgusting, but it was just slightly disturbing, I guess, just seeing her body like stretch like that. But regardless, it didn't work, and so right now these girls had no choice but to pretty much obey the villain. And so right now we see that we have Tomura and the Mist guy. They were like charging in now because they thought that, you know, they could take All Might on, because in reality he actually couldn't move anymore. And so when they were like charging in, you know, he was shocked. And we even had him saying like, holy shit. And I don't know why, but that scene like had me dying. And so right now we see that the Mist one, he was pretty much on the frontal assault. And so we see that obviously we have the kids watching in horror. And so right now we see that when the villains were like getting close to All Might, we have Izuku using his quirk to actually give him, you know, speed or power to make like one great jump. And we see now that he was like gone in an instant. And that right there really caught the other three off guard. You know, even Kazuki definitely didn't like that. But we see now that he was like going to attack that metal bracer around the neck of the Mist villain. And so right now we hear him saying get away from All Might, and we have him powering up a punch. And so right now, you know, you were thinking that that right there might actually work, but at the same time I'm pretty sure if that right there would connect, he would definitely kill the Mist villain. But lucky for him, that right there didn't happen, because we see him like making this this warp gate, and then we have Tomura's hand, you know, like right in front of Izuku, like getting ready to like grab his face. And so right now he was thinking about what happened to Eraserhead's, you know, like arm, because that right there seemed to like break it down. And so right now you were thinking that, you know, that right there might be the end for Izuku, because come on, All Might couldn't move. There was no way no other hero could like get to him in time. But then we see out of nowhere that the Tomura actually got shot like in the hand. And so we see now that this hero, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this guy, like in my mind I was thinking, holy crap, McCree is now in My Hero Academia, because that right there is like kind of who he had actually reminded me of. But we see that that this guy aim, it was like dead on, because not only did he stop Tomura from touching Izuku, but he also saved our other trio who's in trouble as well. And so to me, that right there was impressive. And so right now we see that the other like fodder villains, they were getting up, but at the same time we had backup from like the school as well. And so we see now that all the villains who were like getting back up, we see now that some of them were like trying to attack the teacher. And so then we have that Mike hero who actually got on the front line, and we see him using his quirk, and he let out this yell that was like so freaking loud. It pretty much took out the fodder, like for the most part. And so right now with the teachers or like the professionals, you know, like now making their move, it definitely was not looking good for our villains. Like we even had Tomura saying that, you know, this right here was like game over. And so right now, like, you know, so right now they were obviously going to retreat, but then we have McCree. That right there is my name for him, because I definitely don't know his real name yet. So right now we have McCree not only shooting Tomura again, but he actually like messed him up. He shot him in the legs and also his arms. So this guy was definitely, you know, messed up. And then we have 13, even though he was like so banged up, he was still trying to absorb the Mist villains. And so that right there was also, very respectable. So even though we have Eraserhead and 13, both of them were like so beat up, like throughout this entire little arc, both of them, tried so hard, and you cannot do nothing but respect that. But at the same time, unfortunately, our villains did get away. And so we see now that later on, they appeared in a bar that we saw at the end of one of the earlier episodes. And so right now, they were talking to someone. Apparently, they were talking to Tomura's master. And so right now, they were saying that the League of Villains, that right there was like some cheap name. So I do wonder what this group is like really called, because obviously that right there was a front that they use, only to make that one move. And obviously villains like the Mist one and Tomura, they are part of something much bigger than this. And so also like whoever they were talking to, they were like kind of shocked that they lost Nomu, because we even have the Mist hero saying how he could not even find him even with his like warping powers. So All Might really sent this guy flying. And so then after that, we see that apparently Tomura is definitely like not a villain to sleep on, because apparently this guy, like the next time he makes a move, apparently everybody in the world, will fear him, or they should. So I do wonder, like what in the world is going to go down where we see these villains, next. And so now going back to All Might, Nizuku, we see now how All Might, if you ever seen what the movie called, like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and look at Dr. Jekyll and like Mr. Hyde, you will see that like All Might had that kind of appearance going on, where we see that like one half of him was like still in his hero form, and the other one was like still in his now like extremely sick looking, true form. And so that right there threw me off. But at the same time, at least he was alive, because we have this nice touching scene between him and Izuku, and to me that right there was nice. But then we have the hardened guy running toward Izuku, and so right now it was like getting to the point where he might find out about All Might's secret. But then we have this other hero named Cementos, something like that, but pretty much he can control cement and make it like clay, and we see him now building this barrier so that way he cannot get too close. And so right now he was like telling them to like go gather up by the gate. And so right now we have him and All Might talking, and so pretty much this guy also knows about a secret. And so I do wonder if Cementos is like a teacher, or just like some kind of like regular pro. But regardless, now he's a fan of All Might, and so of course he will like want to keep this a secret as well. And so pretty much after that, we see that the only ones who were like really hurt was Eraserhead, 13, All Might, and Izuku. And so right now we learned that 13, his condition is not that bad like normally, or actually his back was like kind of messed up. But Eraserhead, his was the one I am definitely most worried about, because they were saying how when right now he has like these fractures in his arms, like obviously they are broken, but apparently when what's the name, when Nomu had like slammed his head in, apparently that right there had like shattered those goggles he was wearing, and some of those shards like got into his eyes or something. And so right now they were saying that there might be like some after effects of that. So I do hope that Eraserhead does not either like lose his quirk or stop being a hero, because this guy is definitely one of my favorites. I definitely don't want him to stop. So I do wonder if this guy will be able to go back to normal after he does recover. But 13, he's all right. And so obviously, like we already know that Izuku and All Might, they are being taken care of by the nurse as well. And so pretty much that right there was the end. I mean, well, not the end, but that right there was pretty much the update on those heroes. And we even see now that we have the Naval Laser Boy, And this guy got my freaking nerves because he was like trying to get someone to ask him where he was, and when they finally did, he was saying it was a secret. I don't even care, what his piece of crap was anymore. But then going back to the one but going back to the guy with the tail, I believe he was the only hero who was alone. And so the fact that like we didn't really, get to see much of him except for him doing that, hit and run tactic, I do find that somewhat disappointing because I do want to know what that quirk is. But at the same time, we see now that the girl who can actually become invisible, she was with Todoroki, and so obviously she knew that he's really strong. But at the same time, he almost froze her, and hearing that right there kind of had me laughing because that right there was like really a close call, for him. And so right now, like after that, we have the students, we have the kids going back to the school, and we see now that the police, they actually want to investigate some more because obviously they want to know just like they want to know more about these villains and find out just how much they went like planning this. And so then we see that this cop or detective, he actually wanted to go to the school because he has some business there. And so we see now that we get this scene of Izuku and All Might. They were like in the nurse office, recovering, and we see now that the nurse, she could not really like scold them because of what happened, because even though Izuku always pushing himself, and we see now that like time and time again he's always like breaking his bones and his limbs. And also I definitely don't think Izuku controlled that punch or its quirk like last episode. Like I said, I feel that Nomu actually absorbed it or nullified it, which is why his arm didn't break because it got canceled out. So to me, that's why I believe that the Izuku is definitely under like the wrong impression right now about him controlling his quirk. But at least that right there did not get to his head because he definitely knows that he still has a long way to go. But we now have that detective showing up, and we actually learned that he is All Might's best friend. And so to me, that right there was surprising. But I do wonder if the guy has a quirk, because I'm pretty sure you can be a cop and like have a quirk, because Izuku's mom has a quirk, but she's no pro hero, so maybe he does like have some so maybe he does have like some kind of quirk, but he prefers to be a detective rather than a pro hero. But regardless, we learn now that him and All Might, they're actually best friends. So that right there I do find rather interesting, and I actually would not mind getting like some kind of backstory on them. But regardless, now they were talking, and we see now how All Might was like correcting him on one thing, because we have this guy saying how these kids would not survive if all these heroes did not risk and put their lives on the line. But at the same time, that right there was not true, because these kids, they were also fighting and putting their lives on the line as well. And so I definitely give like major props to All Might for sticking up for these kids, because he definitely knows. Oh, and also, that predicted way, but like moving on now, like we see that when Izuku actually got to leave, we see now that both of his legs, they were now healed, but at the same time we see that he still had like a broken arm. And that's right, he did break like 2 fingers when he did that little smash on water. So I forgot about that. But I do find it like rather strange how his legs, like those 2 would heal perfectly, but apparently his fingers not so much. So maybe what's her name? That nurse, maybe she prioritized like the recovery of his legs over his fingers, which is why that was like wrapped up. But regardless, when he left, we have him walking with Tenya, and Ochako. And I gotta say, like, this friendship between Tenya and Izuku, I do find it like coming like out of nowhere. Now, I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I just wasn't expecting that. And so right now we see Izuku and Tenya, like, nah, maybe these two might become best friends, because that right there seems to be like the route is going down. Because obviously Izuku has a crush on Ochako, so that right there is obvious. But like I said, this friendship with Tenya, it came out of left field, in my opinion at least. And so right now we have them all walking home, and we see now that at the end, like we see some guy standing on this building, and even though we cannot see much of his design because it was dark, we saw pretty much let's see, how can I describe this? We saw a good amount, but because of the shadowing and because it was nighttime, we could not see him fully. But this guy just like screamed villain, especially with the way he like opened his mouth and was like, sticking out his tongue like that. So I do wonder who this guy is, but he might be our main villain for season 2. But this episode, like I said, to me it was good. Like no one can deny that this right here was a good finale, and of course that season 2 announcement wouldn't get anyone hype. But like I said, overall, My Hero Academia has been my favorite show this season. I am so glad that I got to review this for you all, and I will definitely be back for season 2. But as always, let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys take it easy. I will see you all in season 2.